everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee June and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer and content creator based near Sydney, Australia. And this is Suki and we have Kaito in the background as well. And they are evidently going to be helping me in this video as we talk about some Instagram hacks that I have recently come across in the past few years, and I really wanted to do a whole video on it so I could share them with you guys as well. Now, some of these hacks you might already know if you use Instagram Reels on the regular. I feel that I've only been doing them very regularly for the last year or so, but I do think that during that time, I have come across some really good little tips and tricks that might be really helpful for you guys today. As I said, you may already know some of these hacks, so that is completely fine, but I definitely think there's some neat little tricks in this video today that hopefully will help you guys out if you are struggling to create Reels and you want some kind of easier options or easier little tricks to help you along. So we're going to get started and get straight into this video today. And the first hack that we're going to talk about today is some trendy text combinations. Now, I don't know if you've ever felt this way when you've been creating an Instagram Reel and you felt that the text is either really boring or it just doesn't look very trendy, it doesn't look very cool, or you just can't seem to make it look trendy at all. I know quite often I've been scrolling through Reels and I've seen people who've used programs like Premiere Pro with different fonts to kind of create some cool combinations there. But I don't even believe you need to do this. You don't need to be using an external editor for your Instagram Reels. If you're using Instagram to edit your Reels, you can actually get some interesting combinations with the texts that are already built into Instagram. So the two main fonts that I really like to use are actually two of the end fonts in the list. So I'm actually going to show you on the screen right now where they are and which ones I'm talking about. And these are my two favorites because I think they've just got like a simple elegance to them. And I think simple is better when creating Instagram Reels these days as the current trends stand. So I really like using a combination of these two fonts together, or each of them by themselves as well is really nice. Particularly this one is really trending at the moment and a lot of people tend to keep the font size quite small as well. But I do like using a combination of the two. I think it just kind of spices up your Instagram Reel immediately and it just kind of has that slightly more professional graphic design element to your work. So sometimes what I like to do with my Reels is if I've got two lines of text, then I'll have one font on top and one font down below. And I'll kind of switch between them both. They both actually look good. So usually whatever I've got on the second row though will usually be the emphasis of what I'm trying to make the reel about. So for example, if I'm doing a travel reel and I'm talking about Queenstown in New Zealand, which I've done a few Instagram Reels on, I'll make sure that Queenstown is kind of highlighted in that second row of text, and whichever font that I choose to use in the second line, I will make that bigger as well. Now, one other thing that you can do with the text and the fonts to kind of make it just that little bit different as well and make it look a little bit more professional, I guess, in a sense, is that you can just put a space between each of the letters. So if you just put a little space in between each of the letters, it kind of makes it look a little bit more bougie, a little bit more professional. I personally really like the effect that that does create. So it's really good to use a combination of particularly these two fonts. They tend to work really well together. I also kind of switch up the coloring of maybe one of the lines. So quite often I find that the color yellow surprisingly works really well as a color for one of the lines of text. And I will switch this around from time to time with making Reels, but I think it's just really cool to be able to use different combinations of text and using different methods to kind of make them look a little bit more professional, even though you don't have too many options to choose from on Instagram itself. The second hack that I'm going to talk about today is actually one that you may already know about, but for a lot of people I've spoken to, they haven't actually been aware that you can do this. And if your smartphone has the ability to take what's called a live photo, and a lot of the time when you first get your phone, this might be a default option that's already set on your phone to take a live image. And what a live photo is that it's kind of like a very short video of each time you've gone to take a photo. So it's kind of like your phone is capturing more than just the photo that you've taken. So quite a number of frames around that photo, just in case you want a better shot out of it, or if it's a little bit blurry when you've gone to move your phone to take the photo, or even the fact that you might have someone's eyes closed in an image, you can kind of move the live photo across to another frame where it looks a bit better. And it's a really cool option just to have on your smartphone. But you can also utilize this as a video in Instagram Reels. And this is what I've quite often done on my iPhone in the last year when I've been traveling. For my travel Instagram, I quite often take these live photos and then I find it's just extra content later on down the track that I didn't even know that I had. So sometimes when I feel like I haven't taken enough videos, or if I've got sort of shorter Instagram clips that I need in my reel, I can definitely utilize these live photos and they work just as well as a video that I've taken, but it's just an extra way to kind of source content for your Instagram reels that way. And the next hack we're gonna quickly talk about is trending audio. Now, this is one other element that you guys might already know about. Some of you may already know this, but to find trending audio, you just simply need to look for the arrow on Instagram. So if you are looking for specifically trending audio that you wanna use in your Instagram reel, you need to find the arrow that actually sits next to the amount of uses usually that the song itself has had. And you can actually find this when you go into your Instagram Reels creator on Instagram, and then you can go into the music section. You will see that when you're searching for music, that quite often the little arrow will come up under any songs that are trending. The fourth hack we're going to mention today is actually going to be how to add a title to the cover of your reel without it displaying on your feed. So to explain this a little bit further, I've known a lot of people who have really struggled to find out how to do this, and they don't want to have any text on their Instagram feed so much. They really want to keep it still looking nice and cohesive, and they might want it to look really aesthetic still, especially if you're doing more of a photography-based Instagram or travel-based Instagram, that kind of thing, and you want that aesthetic to stay the same and you don't want any font. This is how you can do that. So you have the option with Instagram Reels to create an Instagram Reel cover. And I always like to do this because it just keeps my feed looking nice as well. If you don't add the cover, it's just going to be a frame from your Instagram Reel. And sometimes that doesn't really look as nice compared to the other photos or images or posts that you might have on your feed. When you actually go to edit and move where you want the cover to kind of sit on your feed, I found that this can have a little bug on Instagram where it sort of defaults to certain spots and then it actually shows part of the font, which is not what we want on our feed. So I actually like to do this. I like to push it to the top when I'm actually creating the cover. And then when you actually go in to edit your cover, you can move it around and you can actually make it sit a little bit further down. So you still have like what looks like an image and it still looks aesthetic on your feed. You're not getting any font in it or no chance of font kind of coming up into it. As I said, push it to the top when you're creating it, and usually there's not really much chance of that happening. And my last hack today is actually going to be talking about templates a little bit more. So I've quite often found when I've been swiping through my Reels feed and I've been looking at other people's Reels and I come across a template that I really like that someone else has created. And I really want to use the template, but I kind of want to just save it for later. Quite often when you click on the button that says use template, it will take you immediately to creating your reel. And quite often I might not be technically at work or in the headspace or mood to kind of be creating a reel in that moment. So what I like to do in this instance is actually just add like a bunch of random images, my most recent videos or photos or whatever I've got on my camera reel. It doesn't have to be relating to anything. And I like to fill all of the template spots up, and then I just go through to next and then save as a draft for later. So that means when I go back to it later on, I've already got a template basically waiting there for me that I can use, and I just have to add the clips that I want. I just find that that's a really easy shortcut way of doing things where I don't have to worry too much about doing it on the spot, and I can save it for later, and I've already got a template basically waiting for me, which is much easier than creating something from scratch. Okay guys, well I hope this video has helped you out today. I know that these guys weren't really much help. I'm pretty sure they've just been sleeping half the day anyway, but I hope this video helped you out with any little hacks or tricks that you may not have known about Instagram Reels. I feel like we're all still learning a lot about Reels and even TikTok these days because it's still feeling like such a new form of content that's kind of coming our way at the moment. So if you want to see more videos on Instagram Reels specifically, please let me know in the comments section below because I'd be happy to do more videos around this. I'm definitely spending a lot more time, especially with my travel account, more so creating Reels and short form content these days. So I'm definitely in that scope of things if you want to hear more on how to create Reels and things surrounding that. So guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, make sure you do. I'll be posting lots more videos like this one in future. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.